we'd like to welcome, first of all, Julian, who's joining us for the show for the foreseeable future, our new co-host. Welcome to the show, Julian.
Thank you. I'm happy to be here.
And Dan the man, our producer Dan, is on camera.
Welcome to the F cam.
Oh, that's what you were doing. I was like, why is he just like doing this?
I thought he was doing the Batutsi.
It's F for the
that's
F boys on this side.
Welcome to the F cam.
Oh, for those of you that
and
don't
that's the G
know,
cam.
the F cam over there is for the.
I don't think you're gonna give their last name, right? You're just gonna say it starts with.
Oh, it's a good thing you stopped me because I was about to.
It starts with F. I think that's
Yeah.
Our identities aren't secret.
That's
but
what
we're
it
not, like,
means?
super open about it. Oh, you just thought you were the
No,
F boys?
it's a double meaning.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a triple entendre.
Whatever.
What's
The
the
point
third
is,
one?
they're brothers.
They're happy and they're singing and
And we're
they're
on a
here with
pink
us
couch.
today.
Yeah.
we are.
Yeah.
They took our idea of our dream of having a couch.
Yeah.
Excuse
Ironically,
me?
we've been wanting.
That was my
We've been
idea.
wanting.
And now
we've
it's
been wanting a couch
executed
for
here.
years. That's fair. Ironically, the show now has a couch. It's just not in this studio.
I've been wanting a couch.
So it's live from the studio and the studio apartment. Is that?
That's fair.
Yeah.
That sounds good.
So the last time you may have heard us, for those of you that still listen and or watch, what were we discussing? What was the last?
What year was that, bro?
What was the last episode you put out there? Is that I don't really know. Is it still on your hard drive or?
We've been through a lot. It's been
The
a
world
year.
has been through a lot, and we have felt it.
Yeah, so we've been, full disclosure, a little inconsistent with our release schedule. I think that's a fair thing to say, right?
Yeah.
It's been a lot going on, a lot of acronyms out there. Something that we're going to talk about, I think, during the course of this season. But we're going to shift gears and we're going to shift perspective because I think one theme, and if you went back to that like mini series that we did in the trenches, I believe it was a 2-parter, if I'm not wrong. My producer's not agreeing. Okay,
In the
I believe it was a
trenches.
2-parter.
What was that one
You don't
about?
remember?
He leans over.
Yeah, I actually have to look around the camera to see my producer's face, which is not. Maybe
Which
if I sit
producer?
over here.
This one or the ghost one?
Oh yeah, producer Dan. Well, yeah, that's right. Our eyes in the sky. The voice from above is producer Nick, who's in the room, but he's just staring at the screens.
We got a full house.
Yeah, we got a full house like that show on Netflix. But speaking of shows, we spent a lot of time the last couple of years talking about TV, movies, media, and I guess we got a little tired of it. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, I think there was obviously with streaming blowing up and people and like companies getting competitive and seeing like what services title what services and like who joins up with who, where content is constantly shifting. Like some programs that might have been, made for a specific streaming website, say Netflix, can end up on HBO Max or vice versa.
Or a show that was made for HBO Max can end up nowhere.
That's very much true. And so there was just so much stuff. There's just so much content coming at us nowadays that it's like, before I'm like, this show might suck, but I'm kind of gonna finish. Like, it might not be as good, but I'm gonna finish it. I'm gonna watch it. But now it's just like, I don't have time. Like, I can't put this into the rotation because there is no time. There's so many things that I'm trying to keep track of, which George found us a beautiful app to use.
You think we can get a sponsorship from them? We should reach out.
Yeah.
How would you like? Well, should we name them?
Yeah.
No? Okay. That won't affect the sponsorship. We're basically giving an ad for them. Already.
Whatever you
Yeah.
say, I'm gonna
Okay.
bleep it.
That's free sponsorship.
There you go. Sequel app. Connect with us if you want like about 150 more users tops. All right, just
If you
Half of them
want
gonna be us
4 or
with
5,
devices.
if you want 4 or 5 more people,
yeah.
hit us up.
We'll get at least everyone on this show to subscribe.
No, but the sequel app is great. It's great at tracking. I mean, everything that we have been consuming, right? Like
Yeah.
TVs, movies, video games, which a lot of apps don't do. Like, it's kind of like a more in-depth letterbox, but it's more spread out with different forms of content.
Yeah, I was really surprised because it kind of hits all the what is it, like areas? It's not like what is
Mediums
it?
of
Sure. Yeah, I was thinking kind of like when there's like
Like a Venn diagram.
yeah, like more when there's more points than a Venn diagram though. It's like I don't know, zones, areas. One of those, like it's kind of like a pyramid. I don't know. Anyways, it basically everything that we focus on this show, and more. But one of those areas that we hadn't really explored much of, we've touched upon it and we've drawn parallels in the past, I think, is something that I hold near and dear to my heart, which I kind of do for a living, and that's literature, right? So we ended up in this weird funk where we were kind of like fatigued with so much movies, TV, visuals, right? All the screen time that we were having. And what do you think, especially you guys over there on the other side of the world, what were some of the things that kind of drove us to start exploring more the literary aspect? What drew you to that?
So first off, greetings from China.
Hey, say hi to producer Nick's cousin.
Will do. Now, I think a big aspect for me, because I mean, you guys haven't really mentioned it, but we started doing basically a book club, kind of reading at our own pace. I think the good part of that kind of has helped me, because I have not really been keeping up with TV or films. It's been a little tough. Things are busy. But books, especially with audiobooks and kind of exploring that medium, there's no pressure to be a part of the conversation because we're going at our own pace. We have our own list, and then we can kind of slow down for each other. And then it feels a little bit more intimate because the conversations we're having about these stories are between ourselves. So we can get a little bit more personal. We're not being bogged down by like negative opinions online, a bunch of nonsense here and there. So it's just like having a small little book club that helps us focus on the stories has really helped me connect more with the novels. So it's been refreshing.
Yeah, for me, honestly, I don't read. So when I got approached for this book club, I was like, I don't know. That's gonna be tough for me.
Oh, really?
But let's just put it out there. I don't read still. I listen to I listen to books. Which is a form of reading, I guess you could say, in our modern day. But one of the reasons that I really fell into it was because I felt like I finally had original material, where I feel like we've gone to a point now where
That's a good point.
nothing's original. Everything's a remake, or everything is a alternate version of the same thing that we've watched in the past, and it's the same
an
story
adaptation.
it's the same story being told in different views. And I felt like getting into books, getting into a story, like like some of the topics that we'll talk about, I was like encaptured immediately, and I was like, wow, I've never even thought of something like this. And it took me into a different place where like I felt like I finally could use my imagination. So that's definitely the reason that I'm kind of just happy that we found this book club.
Right. There is that aspect of like now, because we had the visual mediums of comics, film, shows, video games, but having to engage that imagination a little bit more, especially in this day and age, it helps with mental health.
Sure
with
does,
the way I feel, the way I plan things. I feel more creative lately because I'm using a little bit more of that imagination, and it's just refreshing.
Yeah, rather than sitting in front of a TV and feeling sometimes like you're rotting. So it's
absolutely.
No, it's a good point. It's because everything's kind of being laid out for you. Everything is, it's being shown to you. Like you are being like they're holding your hand essentially,
and you're consuming, right?
Yeah.
Like that's your position in the experience, which is nice to have a story told to you, but it's a very passive experience as opposed to
no, for sure. And even then, I think nowadays we've recently been talking about this new way of filmmaking or making television shows. I know that certain people have been outspoken about it. I think Matt Damon was one of them. Talking about how some like Netflix, for example, tells, not for every project, I assume, but
They probably tell everybody.
we have heard that for a lot of projects, they've been telling the people that are making these movies and shows, like, make it so that people who are on their phones and, you know, and not necessarily like fully engaged into what we're showing them, that they can still understand and be able to catch up and be able to follow the story along. So kind of like extra hand holding and like feeding you, be like, it's a layup, it's like easy mode, and it doesn't really challenge you. And I think that was something special that we found with books, where it's like it works on different levels, where it's like, let's say you, like myself, like I've read throughout my life, obviously in school and sometimes for fun, but it's not like I'm keeping track of the amount of books I'm reading in a year or anything like that, like I know a lot of other people do. Like I've always been, you know, movies and television in my pastimes, not necessarily like, if you tell me about a book or if I'll hear about it, if it gets like a lot of attention or whatever, then I'll read it, you know, but it's not like something that I go out of my way to look for.
They were few and far between, right?
Yeah. And so I think that reading has given us a challenge where it's like, let's say for you've grown up reading, it's what you do for work, it's something that you enjoy doing on your own with your wife and your family. You like, it's a different challenge from someone that's like used to reading consistently as opposed to someone that doesn't. You know, sometimes that's not necessarily reading comprehension, but just being able to be able to focus and to be able to stick with it, I think presents itself as different challenges. Because you can read at maybe at a faster pace, or you can understand things on a deeper level rather than someone that, you know, doesn't read as often, like some of us, like most of us.
Yeah.
You know?
And I mean, and believe it or not, it's a challenge for me, because that was one of the catalysts for me being like, hey guys, let's do this. We're tired of all this. How about let's try this? I don't even, and we'll talk about the first attempt or experiment that we did and like what kind of led to that. But it's a challenge for me too, because I'm going to be honest, in the past couple of years, especially last year, again, if you go back and see kind of the, not only just the societal problems, but all the like the interpersonal stuff that happened for us last year. Was a pretty difficult year. We had a lot of lost loved ones and things of that nature.
R.I.P.
My
Link.
reading, cute. Yes, Link specifically. Peace in Colombia one day. But my reading list was way down, you know, and I had kind of like lost that habit, and I had really kind of drowned myself in some bad habits. And it wasn't like cocaine and ecstasy or anything like that, but like I was spending a lot of time in front of my screens. You know, I was self-medicating, and I think me and Dan talked about this. We were self-medicating through gaming, and I had kind of lost that connection. I was like, I think it's time to really focus on kind of addressing those, like you said, that learning and growing aspect, the intellectual part of reading, because it's really easy. Everything's getting spoon-fed with you now, with everything, with AI and with, like you said, these scripts that are just meant to like for you to be distracted. I think we're kind of being fed into a culture that is distracted, and it's easy to be like, oh, well, you know, everybody does it. It is just the world that it is now, and kind of swimming against that tide can be difficult, because you have to kind of identify that you really even want something different.
Yeah, and in a sense, it's almost like an addiction. You know, we're so used to spending our times on screens with movies, going to the theaters, or your TV that's like easily accessible, your phones, iPads. Like you go to a restaurant, and it's like you just see most of the children in there with iPads, like under the age of 10.
iPad,
and it's like you notice that, and what we like, it's hard to figure that out for yourself, but sometimes it just clicks where it's like, I'm spending this week, I went on, like, I'm getting back into running after my injury, and
there was that also, yes.
And then we were also, did we not talk about that?
Yeah, we did, in the trenches, 2-parter.
Okay.
Dan doesn't remember. It's okay.
No, I don't think that happened yet.
No, really?
No, because that happened when I came back from Texas.
Oh, but we have talked about it though.
Oh,
So,
if anyone doesn't know, I tore my Achilles. Anyways, I'm recovering from that and getting back into it. And so, but also now that I'm getting back into that, my usual active lifestyle, it's also showing me I need to build better habits. And one of the ones that we talked about was like, not even wearing headphones while going for this walk run and just taking, especially like if you're outside,
yeah.
taking in the world around you, And so I did that, and it made me think. I was like, I am way too tapped into my phone. Like, not even looking at the screen time numbers, which I have, but it's like I get to a point where like, yeah, you set them up with good intentions, but there comes a point where I just ignore it,
Yeah.
It's just something else. It's like, okay, yeah, sure, whatever. But I was like, man, I really got to take it easy. Because it's so easy to fall in, because these things are made to do that. These companies know what attracts people. These companies know what's going to keep your attention and what's going to consistently bring you back. And so I've just resolved I'm just going to try and do like a TV fast, I think.
Yeah.
This coming week.
That's awesome.
Just because like I just need to bring it down.
George and I, we're reading a book right now. I mean, I'm sure we'll go into more detail about it later. But Anxious Generation. He says something specific that stuck with me for a while. He said, "Attention is the new oil." That's what the companies want. They want your attention. So engaging with these longer form pieces of content through audiobooks and books. These are like 20-hour stories, 10-hour stories. It's almost healing to kind of escape from that constant trap of short form content.
The quick hits.
Constant advertising. It's just avoiding that stuff. It's like it frees the soul a little bit. It's hard when you're just constantly engaging with that stuff, seeing hate, seeing ads, constantly being tracked on whatever you're doing. It's hard.
Yeah.
For sure.
So we talked about fatigue. We talked about avoiding brain rot a little bit. And also exploring source material. I know that was something that kind of brought us. Like we said, they're making a ton of content out there. And like Julian mentioned, a lot of it is not original. So going back to the source material and kind of, because it's not like we're not going to watch TV and movies, right? It's not like we're not going to play video games. But a lot of these, stories have a rich history in a literary tradition, and it's nice to kind of see it in its purest form. Purest because it's like original, and second of all, because it's the entirety, right? We talk a lot, and we're going to talk about this season about some of the like adaptations that we've seen, the decisions that they make. There's a lot of stuff out there, some good, some bad, but kind of getting back to basics of storytelling, because in reality, words, whether spoken or, I'm glad that we have Julian, for example. He says he doesn't really read specifically, but it's good to have that perspective of the ones that are just listening to the stories. Oral communication is our oldest form of storytelling. Before we have, even as civilizations learned to write things down, we would tell them, we would memorize them. We would have to listen to someone and be able to then tell that story back to someone else later. So that's like at its core communication. And then eventually we found out how to write these things down and read. And we're going to get you reading, Julian, but little by little.
I'm an OG though.
But it's just, go ahead.
I'm an OG.
Yeah, you're an OG. Exactly. You're just classically trained.
But I mean, that's kind of how it started, like we mentioned the book club. Me and George are like, we're just like, yeah, it's about time. Let's start doing this. And then George suggested, like, we were trying to figure out a book to start with. George suggested something he thought you had read it already, or no?
No, I had just started reading it. So I was
he was like a couple chapters in.
Yeah. Oh, and I think the main reason was I was like, this is palatable and it might be an easy read. And also I kind of already started reading it. But also the whole point of the book club was why I had started reading. I was like, I need something easy and short to get back into the rhythm of it. So that's why I thought this would be a good idea. Of course, it was a risk and a gamble because I hadn't read it yet. But.
Yeah, and the other thing was just that like the book that we read was Who Framed?
Yeah, it's the book that Who Framed Roger Rabbit is based on. Yeah, Who Censored Roger Rabbit.
Who Censored Roger Rabbit, that's what it was. And so, like, that was kind of one thing that we said we were going to do after we finished the book is watch the movie together. And so because of this was already based on something, you kind of have an idea, but I haven't seen that movie in years, and it would be good to revisit it.
Yeah, that was
after the book.
That was kind of the thing. I said, I'm reading this book, and Julian was like, "Oh, I might actually be interested," because he loved that movie. And then producer Dan and producer Nick, the youngins on the crew, had never seen it. So we're like, okay, this might be the perfect thing
I
to
can
either
explain.
revisit or experience.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Dan.
Listen. Number one, initially, I was anti-audiobook. I was like, that's for fakes. That's not reading. So I bought the book.
Me too. And I have a story about that, but go ahead.
I bought the book on my iPad. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to find a way to get my steps in and read this book with my eyes.
That sounds difficult.
So I put it on the treadmill. I was walking, I had it on the iPad. It was all big. I got to like chapter 3 or 4. And then the maintenance guy is like, hey, we're cleaning the gym. You got to leave. And that was as far as I ever got. He ruined
I like that
my
you were-
vibe.
I don't get so he put you off of the book just because he kicked you out of the gym.
Now every time I open the book, I'm like,
You
He thinks
reminded
about that
of the
guy.
if
maintenance
that guy would not have kicked me out of the gym, I would be free.
I didn't even
That
know
was
that.
my
Yeah, I
chance.
didn't-
I was saving it for this
He was
episode.
waiting for this moment.
Yeah, that's a true story. Screw that guy.
Yeah, you know what else is a true story? Me and George in the group chat constantly updating everyone saying this is where we're at. We're continuing to make steady progress. Me and George are, midway through the book. I'm like, chapter check. These people haven't started the freaking book. And I'm
started
like,
very
bro,
late.
it's just me and George. It's just me and George. And then like 2 weeks later, I've read chapter 1 from Julian. And I'm like,
Hey, but I
guess
caught
it
up pretty
started-
quickly on that one. Okay.
George and I finished the book. George and I finished the book, and I think like I gave it like 3 weeks. I kept doing like chapter checks, nothing. Julian made like incremental progress. Danny like just didn't respond.
Because of
And
the
so-
guy. Because of
Oh,
the
because
guy.
yeah, but I didn't know that.
Because of
Wait.
maintenance, man.
You're not even mentioning producer Nick. Because he was originally in this book
was
club.
he worth mentioning? Like that's just he's an afterthought.
Didn't
Well,
George
at this
buy him
point.
the book?
That's true.
Yeah, I hooked him up. I hooked him up with my login for Kindle and Audible, so he could listen or watch it. And then eventually, like after weeks, he was like, "You know what? I really just can't read digitally." So I buy him a physical book, and then that was the last time I.
So
ever
who
read it.
was
Yeah,
the
okay.
maintenance
Good luck with
guy that ruined the experience for Nick?
Yeah,
'Cause
who was?
clearly
I think it was
this
Nick
is-
himself.
Nick is the main.
Nick is the maintenance guy in his own life. So I kept going. Me and George finished the book, and I'm just like, all right, I'm just not gonna say anything in the chat anymore. George, what do you want to read next? Because
The
Whatever.
club
We'll
was
keep
hanging
going.
by the thread.
Didn't you threaten
Yeah.
me? I think you threatened me to finish it.
I think I did. I
That
just said
sounds,
something.
that sounds familiar.
That sounds like Gabriel. Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't
And I
remember.
was like,
I get
"Don't
Julian
worry,
out of the group
guys,
chat
I'll
every other
finish
week.
it soon.
I can't remember what you threatened me with, but I started it, so clearly it worked.
I was probably gonna kick you out of the group chat.
I just want to point
Oh,
out that
probably.
Dan.
Oh, that's what it was.
I just want to point out that Dan like came up with that story to defend himself. I was actually just saying about how he hadn't seen the movie growing up. Yeah, and he was saying, "Look, I have reasons. I have reasons why I didn't read the book."
Chapter 4.
Yeah, and then I found that out afterwards. Like Nick tried telling me the same thing today about not showing up, but he clearly could. He made the choice to show up. Like it was out of his graciousness that he showed up. When he was just sitting at home, he was just like, you know what? I will go and be a part of this show that these guys want me to be a part of. I'm not just gonna sit at home. And then he told that to me, and then expected me to be grateful and thankful.
Well, I was grateful and thankful. So
There
thank
was
you
a
for coming,
second
but-
attempt for who censored Roger Rabbit. I just
From
remember
who?
there was a
I'm
second
Oh,
just-
from
attempt
you?
for
just
me.
finding all about this
I was like,
all
all
the
right,
time.
Okay.
the maintenance guy,
Live on the air.
he screwed my experience. I was like, let me try the audiobook. And then I spent 30 minutes trying to log into Amazon. Screw you, Bezos. And I couldn't get in. So I was like, you know what? Screw this book. It wasn't meant
Yeah,
to
you
be.
figured it out for the next book, though.
Yeah.
I collaborated a story on that one. He did ask me what
Okay.
the password was.
Yeah, and I crashed out in text
He
because
did
I was like, I
crash
can't
out
get
in
it. I like,
text.
and then I got into an account, and apparently
It was the wrong
it was
one.
a wrong account.
It was
What
my
was the
mother
password for
has
that account?
That
another
was my mom's old
unused
account.
Amazon account.
My mom has one
that
of those
I had
too, yeah.
information saved for. So after 30 minutes, I made it to
Yeah.
account. And there is no Who Censored Roger Rabbit. And then I try to buy it. It's not even showing up on my Amazon. So I was like, I'm done. I'm not doing this.
Wait,
But I
Julian, did you
finished it.
have the actual book at any point?
No, I just had.
Like,
it
is
through
that how you
Audible.
started?
I started it through Audible.
The whole thing.
Yeah, because I opened Audible because I don't remember who suggested it. I think it might have been you, Gabe.
Yeah, I
Just-
suggested
you were
like
like,
to
"Oh,
start
just
with the
listen
audio
to it
because
at
it might be
least."
easier.
Gabe, chill out. Why are you so angry?
I'm still mad at Nick, to be honest.
It's always the maintenance guy.
But I logged onto Audible and I realized I had like 25 credits, and I was like, well, and I just started.
What?
Yeah, there was a lot of credits on there. I don't know.
I don't
why.
know.
Oh, that's why
what-
Julian was quick to
That's
buy
why I
every
was
book
buying
that we
every book.
recommend.
I'm buying it. I'm buying it.
I was like, that's why I was
I
like, all
got
right,
it.
Miss Bourne bought all the series.
We're not gonna read this book. Buying it.
Okay.
Jurassic
Well,
Park.
one thing I wanna-
bought it.
About it. One thing I want to unpack with Dan is he mentioned that at first he was against listening. Why is that?
At first, I thought it was fake reading, but I was severely
It is, but continue.
mistaken. While it is fake reading, there is no quite experience like going for a walk with your audiobook
Or driving to work.
or driving to work. It is a
Or sitting
beautiful
on the can- oh, wait.
experience. Or 2 for 1. You eventually get the physical copy and you read along.
Yes.
And it's a beautiful, beautiful experience. I love audiobooks.
I
now.
haven't experienced that yet, but yeah.
It's fantastic.
It is nice. Yeah. I at first went like a long time ago. Actually, when audiobooks began to emerge, obviously they've always been around like on CD. You used to have to like check them out from the library
The
or
hell's
buy.
that?
Yeah, you used to a
What's a
long time
CD?
ago. They right, but obviously when they became digital, they became very popularized, especially through Audible. And at first, I was resistant because I was like, no, someone's gonna read for me. Then what am I doing? I imagined it being a passive experience as well. But actually, the state standards on teaching changed, and they started putting audio like prompts in the computerized testing. So now it was part of my job to teach how to respond to audio. So I was all right, let me give this a shot. So in order to do that, I had to learn to listen, and I learned that it helped me with my focus. It helped my communication skills with other people and being able to listen and then respond to. And then I was able to teach, how to do that. And then I also fell in love with some of these experiences of these like excellent narrators or even full cast and produced versions. And I started using it in class. Like sometimes we would read the chapters. Sometimes it was silent reading. Sometimes it was, popcorn reading, choral reading together, or sometimes we would follow along with the audiobook, these professional narrations. So I kind of brought that into the classroom, and then it was away we go with it.
Audiobooks are great. Long story short, that was a long story. Julian ended up finishing.
I
He
did.
ended up, I don't know what clicked for him. I'm pretty sure he said it in the chat, but something clicked and he finished it. He finished it pretty
Did
good.
Yeah,
you
Julian, what
finish,
has he-
did you finish that book before you started Harry Potter?
Me?
Because that was like a
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I didn't start reading
Okay,
Harry
so what
Potter
made you?
until
What
after
what
this
took
one.
you? What took you across the finish line for Who Censored Roger Rabbit?
So I started off slowly. I think that week I was working in office, and I was like, well, I guess I'll use my drives. I haven't really listened to music on my drives in a while, and I usually just drive in silence, which sounds kind of intense.
Are you okay?
Yeah, I'm fine. we don't talk
Sometimes
about
we
it.
need silence. It's a busy life.
So I just started playing it, and like it was kind of slow a little bit for me. And for at the beginning, I was like, I don't know about this. I don't think it's really for me. And kind of the story just kind of grabbed me. I started like thinking back in terms of this book specifically, Who Censored Roger Rabbit, trying to remember exactly what I saw in the movie growing up. And I started spotting the differences, and I was like, wait a second, I don't remember that. And all of a sudden, I just found myself driving around for random things, and I was like, yeah, well, I'm going to play my audiobook even though I'm going to Target and 6 minutes away. And it just became a thing.
Hey,
where I
6
just,
minutes sometimes is a chapter, or at least it gets
Exactly.
you halfway through.
I was
6
like, well,
minutes
I
can
need
be
to
a long
finish
time,
this
guys.
chapter. I'm 5 minutes from this chapter, so I'll go to Target. Thank you. So it kind of just clicked, and I just sped through it. And before I realized, I just like, I don't know. My imagination started clicking in a way that I hadn't felt it
You
before.
healed your soul. I
I healed my soul from
Yeah.
the from the burnout of media and all these different things that we've been consuming the last couple of years. And all I could think of was like, wow, I've never really listened or read the source material of something before. I always like the first time I hear about it or look at the story is in like watchable media. So for me to kind of actually see where it came from was kind of interesting, especially with the way it ends. I was like, what the heck? But that's just
Yeah.
one of those
Yeah,
things
that
that just
was-
captured me. I'm like,
that was a
okay, now
choice.
I want to read everything. It opened
Right.
the door.
So, yeah, it's like when you work out for the first time and like you finally made it to the gym and you finally did and you finally
Yeah.
felt like what it, and you're like, you know what, this is possible.
this
This is
the
what it.
thing. This
this-
works.
Yeah. This. And has it gotten to the point where if you get to Target and you got 2 minutes left in the chapter, you're just sitting quietly in your car to finish it before
Yes.
you get down? Or
I do that. Yeah.
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 It's like
And
the
I
best
think that
part of my
that teaches
day
you.
now is to just sit in the car and listen to my book.
Yeah, and I think that teaches you like stillness and patience. It kind of changes your life in the sense that you're not rushing everywhere all the time.
Except for Gabe,
You know.
who's listening at
At
5x speed.
2.5 speed.
Yeah, I don't know what it is. Maybe my brain is just used to it at this point, but listening at 1 time speed for a lot of the books that I've been listening to, it just sounds very slow, and to me it doesn't sound natural.
Alvin
But
and the Chipmunks are narrating all your books now.
It doesn't sound natural. And sometimes but there's sometimes where like I was gonna say it. For blanks and giggles, like I'll put it up to like 1.7 and I'm like, I could. But will I really
Yeah.
but
What
will I
will it
really,
cost?
take in
Yeah.
will I really take in, everything that's being like told to me. So I do, but there are some people that read very, like, I don't know if they do it in post or
See,
whatever.
But I don't understand how you think that's too fast for you. You just read at the speed. Oh, yeah, I thought you were gonna hit it one more time to 1.5.
No, it's
No, okay. We're just gonna stay at 2.58.
You guys are showing me the light.
human. And yeah, 1.5. You said that you got used to like studying that way. Is that why you're used to that speed?
Oh, like listening to the videos, yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's just the way that my brain takes it, and I know that like obviously too fast you are gonna miss stuff, and so some there like I tried. I think when I first started doing it at a faster speed, it also was because I was like, how much can I fit in an amount of
Correct.
time, and that's another thing, rushing.
Yeah.
It's like because you want to get it done. You want to like have this another check that I can put in the app or whatever. Like, okay, next, what are we doing? And I think I just got used to that with studying. It was kind of the same way, but I had to like tweak it. Also, depending on who's like narrating. Some people are just naturally slower. Some people are faster.
No, I agree with you that I personally can't listen at 1.0, but as you can see on the show, and if you know me in everyday conversations, like I don't speak at 1 point speed. And
also, the other thing too is like how I speak.
Mhm.
I speak very fast.
Yeah.
And maybe I will give it a try on the next book to listen at a lower speed because I do notice that when I speak like personally, even like just normal conversation, I do tend to rush when I'm speaking,
Yeah.
and
Do I
that's something I've always wanted to fix.
Do I speak?
So-
slow?
I mean, if it makes you,
What?
do I speak?
yeah,
slow?
you speak slow, Julian. Yeah, you do speak slow, Julian.
I mean,
Why do I-
he
is
has
this why
a
I might
nice
just-
cadence.
Am I just figuring this out for the first time? Is this why?
Well, you have a soothing
It's
tone.
calm. It's calming.
Yeah, you have a
Oh,
soothing
okay.
tone, so it's okay. Yeah.
It's like you're in a, it's a relaxed, like it's very homey, comforting.
Yeah, it doesn't bug anyone because of the tone, but the rest of us are talking like
Like
this.
I sound like I'm cracked out.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah. We're like, Julian, what do you think of the movie? Wasn't it awesome?
Julian,
And
come
then
on,
you're
like, listen to the book. Come on.
And you're like, yeah, it was so
Yeah,
nice.
it was pretty good.
Yeah, I love the part where. So if it makes you feel better, Gabe, 1.5 is still a scientifically acceptable way for your brain to process the information. My problem with 1.5 is that that's the point where I think their voice sounds unnatural. Like it sounds like it's being sped up.
Yeah.
So even though I can understand, like I feel like at 1.25,
1.25 is the sweet spot, baby.
yeah, like I literally can't tell that it's being sped up. It just sounds like they're talking in their normal.
I
regular
just
voice.
recently went to 1.2.
He's a believer.
Just recently.
See?
Before
He's
this
on that
was only
Julian
1.0,
track.
1.0 only.
So now,
project
see,
for
because then you went to Harry Potter. Now, do you listen to Harry Potter at 1.2, or do the rest of the sound effects kind of need to be?
that one.
played
That
at
one I
1?
listened at 1.0 because I feel like the sound effects and like the music is like being sped up in the background.
Gotcha.
yeah, that
Yeah,
one.
it's
That
true.
one I listened to at normal.
Yeah, the music is like. Yeah.
It's a little bit more
Harry
French.
Potter, as read by J.K. Rowling. It's got those radio intros, yeah.
No, like I think one of the recent books that we just finished, Project Hail Mary, that guy reads fast. And so, or at least when I put it to a specific, was it that book? No,
Where'd you put it at?
Shout out Ray Porter.
I actually.
I
read
think I
that
put
one
it at like
1.2.
1.7 or 1.5, and then I was like, okay, this is a little too fast.
I'm sorry,
blind,
1.7,
Yeah, 1.7 I've done for.
1.7 is insane.
bro.
I did it for the Mistborn books.
You have high
What?
process. You did it for who?
You should go back and re-listen.
Miss
to
Mistborn
this.
books.
Mistborn? Dude, you missed the entire series.
That's insane.
I don't think you paid attention.
Yeah. No wonder it's like, because we do the freak. All right. We do a little chapter check-in, and once we all got into it,
Yeah.
I got really into Mistborn. It was like, I'm at chapter 20. I'm at chapter 22. Gabe's like, I'm at chapter 60. Everyone
I'm done.
dies.
I've
I was like,
finished
no
the book.
wonder. This guy's hauling
Now
ass.
we're gonna do episodes on Mistborn, right? Well, so we'll deep dive that, but let's talk about that second title real quick in the sense that so we did Roger Rabbit, we did the watch party. Most of us watched the movie.
I was not
Right?
there.
And then
Gabriel
we-
literally drove up to Orlando and surprised me. I had no idea he was gonna be there, and he watched the movie with me.
Yeah, and then
I
so
didn't
then
know
we
that.
had
What
to
are you
pick
talking about?
about the watching.
Oh, Roger Rabbit.
Yeah,
Yes.
Roger Rabbit. No, the Mistborn movie. You didn't know? You surprised him?
It's
You didn't
out.
know that was out already, dude.
Yeah.
It's
That was fast. It
2028.
sucked.
Gabe,
I
wake
think
up.
I spoke too slow for him.
Yeah, he drove
I
up.
was just like,
So we watched Roger Rabbit, and then we had to choose a second book. So we're like, oh, okay, all right. Roger Rabbit was rough. Some of us made it. Some of us we lost them along the way. Who
Chapter 4.
like, what do you think is probably gonna hit? And at this point, I still want to read books that I haven't read yet, right? So they're all gonna be a gamble because I also want to read new
also
books.
your Audible,
Say it again.
your Audible subscription.
Oh, that I needed like to spend a bunch of credits? Yeah. That was the best part. I had like all these credits on my Audible that I was trying to burn through because like I had just left a subscription. I was like, oh man. So I was trying to spend them, and then thanks to this book club, now I had bought a whole year in advance, and I have like I'm
He had
keeping up with it.
he had a couple left, and then he's just like, "Tell me titles to buy. I don't care anymore. I'm not even gonna consider it. Just tell me what to buy."
Yeah.
And I'm like, "Okay, this one I heard was good. This one, and he's like, "Bottom, done."
Yeah. I was like, Merry Christmas, Gabriel. You got all the books you wanted.
And then, like a week later, after we burned through them, someone comes up with the idea to read the Mistborn
That's
series.
right.
His dying breath.
And then
before he passed away.
Yeah. That was
before
the
he
last.
pa- before he
That's the
passed
last
on,
thing
That was
we
the
heard from
last
him.
message.
he was like, "We should read these books," and then we're all like, we all kind of looked into it, and then we're like, "Yeah, let's do it."
Yeah.
And
I had
then-
been wanting to read them for a really long time, but it was such a commitment because I knew it was a long series, and I was like, "Whoa, what if I don't like it?" And
Yeah.
then, you know, but I was like, "Oh, if we're gonna experience it together, I think it's time to take the plunge."
Yeah, and then guess who didn't have Audible credits anymore?
You know, me.
And then guess who got a new subscription?
I had to buy a 1-year subscription on Black Friday so that I could get all the credits that I needed for the Mistborn.
Meanwhile,
Audible,
Julian's
if you're
just, like,
listening,
hoarding these
your
credits.
model works.
Yeah, we're talking about trying to escape consumerism, and we're just in a new ecosystem where
Yeah.
we're
That's how it works.
you can't escape. This is the world we live in. But so we got into the Mistborn, and I think that's what really unlocked. Like, okay, this is the thing that we're gonna do because I think it was still shaky after Roger
Yeah.
Rabbit, but you guys got hooked on.
That's
those
where
books.
we regained in
Yeah, I was like, hold on.
He joined us midway through that, but he.
If the
caught it
story's
real
gonna
quick.
be awesome, maybe I'll make a sacrifice here.
But yeah,
Maybe I'll read books if they're good.
if they're good.
That's the book that sold me on audiobooks, because I was like,
Yeah.
okay, I don't know where to cut in time to sit down and read. So I'm like, I really want to be a part of the book club. Screw that maintenance guy. I never want to see him again. So
Shout out to Nick in disguise.
on my weekly walks, I take 2 or 3 walks a week, extended walks. I was like, I don't have any music to listen to. I burned through all it. Let me try the audiobook, since I finally got into my mother's Amazon account, and Julian already bought the Amazon, or he bought the Mistborn book. And it was,
So you have
it was
2
great.
copies of the Mistborn books digitally on your mom's and on Julian's.
So it was fantastic. I was enjoying nature, listening to Mistborn, and then kind of about maybe like 10% of the way through, I was like, yeah, this story rocks. And audiobooks rock. And I was hooked.
This was the story that I think I started before all of you too. I had jumped
He was a
into it
pioneer.
because I was like, well, my drives feel kind of lonely now without my Audible books. And then George, I think, threw it out there after Gabe said something about Stormlight. George was like, well, let's do Mistborn instead.
Good
And I
call.
was like, done, bought, 25 credits, still need to use them.
I bought the entire Cosmere.
I bought
For those
the
of you that
entire,
aren't aware-
I did actually. I bought
Yeah.
all of
Oh,
Stormlight.
wow.
Mistborn.
For those of you that aren't aware, Stormlight is part of a larger universe, but Mistborn are some of the more earlier, older books. So Stormlight are supposed to be like these great books, and Mistborn is also great in its own way, but they're earlier. So like, if Stormlight is the magnum opus, then this is the beginning, and that's why I didn't want to like jump ahead and kind of ruin Mistborn if Stormlight is even better. So that's kind of what Julian's referring to. So go ahead.
Yeah. So I started. I was like, I don't know, guys. This is kind of rough. It started off a little slow. I couldn't really get myself into it. I was like, oh man, I don't think maybe I'm just not into this
Yeah.
style of book or like story. And then somewhere around chapter, what was it, like 4 or
3.
5?
It was 3.
It was chapter 3.
I remember because I got it to 2, and then you started, and you passed me, and then you got to 3. Because I was also kind of feeling like, okay, cool, whatever. And then he got. Then
Me
he got
too.
to-
I was like, oh, this isn't gonna work out.
Then he got
guys.
to. Then he got to 3, and then he's like, oh, it takes off. And then I'm like, all right, sure.
Yeah, me
And
too.
then
I was like, okay.
oh, he's right.
The introduction
Yeah.
was rough.
Yeah, the intro was rough. I get
In hindsight.
they were setting things up.
Yeah, in the
yes.
grand
in
scheme of things,
hindsight,
right.
It's fantastic. And I need to go back and re-listen to the beginning, because I'm sure I missed plenty. But Jesus Christ, I really needed to be eased into that.
Our Lord and Savior.
Our Lord and Savior.
Sanderson just kind of dropped us into a world
Yeah.
with a lot of
Yeah.
names, strange
Mhm.
names, and said, figure it out. Now, once it was figured out, it was great. I mean, it was fantastic.
I
Once you're hooked, once
I
Vin-
think until
Yeah.
chapter 3, I still was confused at what characters were what. I said, I was
For
like,
sure.
wait, is he the main character?
Well,
Who is
yeah,
this?
once the main character's introduced, it finally clicks. You're like, oh,
Yeah.
this is the way. Okay, this
And
is
I
where we're
went
going.
full send. I finished that book so fast. that-
Yeah, and the next few weeks were just Julian going, "Did you finish the book? Did you start the book? Did you start the book?" I was like, "No, man, I'm in finals. Did
Well,
you start the book?"
he was taking really long, okay?
I was in
start.
school.
Yeah, but then once Danny started, like, he would just go on like tears. He would just be like, you know what? I'm doing this all weekend, and then end up like 15 chapters ahead of everyone.
Yeah.
And then I would be like, okay, I got.
2.5 times speed.
I was like, I gotta catch up. 5.0, let's go. And then I will pass him by like 10 chapters, and then he'll be like, like we would all like kind of like ask chapter
Yeah.
check. Where's everybody at? Just see, it's like to gauge where everybody, like where everyone is. And then I'd be like almost done with the book, and everyone's like, what? And then George got disheartened a couple times, I think.
I really
in the
did.
Because we were all past
the
it. We all,
first one he
we all
did.
like blew by
Yeah,
him.
we all passed him so
Okay.
easy.
He's like,
'Cause-
I have a life.
No. Because also with Roger Rabbit, I was like, let me slow down. Because if I drop that I'm on like chapter 32 and they're on 4, I'm going to dissuade them. They're going to be
Yeah,
like,
I
I don't
get
want to read anymore. So I went really slow.
He purposely like slowed.
Yeah, like I marathoned it. Like this is 23 miles, and I'm gonna pace myself, right? So I thought I'd start. Mistborn the same way, and then all of a sudden, everyone's sprinting, and they passed me by. And Dan's right. We were in school. Like I was in finals. Like I was giving finals and writing finals, and they're like, read 18 chapters this weekend. Where you at? I'm like, I was like, how do you even have that many hours? You were awake for 18 chapters? But little did I know, Gabriel's on like 10.5 times.
That's how you got to do it.
It's like, Kelsey, and Gabriel's like, I'm getting it all. He's like, Neo in the Matrix.
It's incredible. It's just like this fast-paced story. I'm like, oh my God, I'm in it.
Animal Crossing
immersed.
style,
Yeah,
baby.
straight up.
Nah, it was, but I mean, yeah. So I think that's what kind of was the real catalyst for
Yeah.
something that we knew that we like what was in our hands that we were going to be consistently taking part of and sharing with each other. And then I think in between the Mistborn books, we were like, all right, let's throw something else in the rotation.
Yeah, well, okay. So to address what you're saying too, a couple of things that you guys said that drew my attention. Cutting out the time, because we get busy with school or with work or whatever it is. But when you start reading, it's like, oh, you know what? I need to cut out the time to do this. And it helps you kind of slow down. It connects you to nature. Danny has a reason to go out to walk because now he's going to get that fresh air, some exercise, and knock out a couple of chapters in a story that he's engaged in. And then Julian mentioned
has
something.
a reason to leave his house.
Exactly.
He makes up reasons to leave his house.
Exactly. I'll always remember that anecdote. I don't know if you want to expand on it, but like, yeah, it reasons to leave your house, Julian.
Yeah, there's moments I literally would come home from work and I would sit in the car an extra 10, 15 minutes because I needed to finish what was going on. There was no way I was going to leave.
or the Publix.
stopped.
Yeah, the Publix runs
the
is what caught
Publix.
my attention.
I was like, my wife was like, "Oh, I think we need something from Publix." You do? Okay, I'll go.
Yeah, that's
out
something
the
I can
door.
relate to. So actually, reading also helps your relationships because my wife loves that I'll go get anything at the grocery or like, oh, we didn't get gas on the way. We need to gas up for tomorrow morning. We're going, hey, I got it. I'm like, oh, thank you so much. And it was like, you get all these brownie points, but secretly I knocked out 2 more chapters. So like it helps build relationships, reconnects you with nature, gets you, distracts you from your work life. And the other thing that you mentioned, you were just about to say is we wanted to slip something else. I believe they wanted to go right into the next book.
I did.
Oh, you did, right?
No, yeah, it
I
was
think-
him. I was like, okay, let's take a little break.
I also wanted the next
and
book.
then
No, I
Gabe
think
was like,
I think
So was Julian.
I was the main proponent after the second one.
Yeah.
Like I'm
Yes.
going to the third.
I was
don't
the
care.
main one after the first one,
That's
but
just-
because
But
I
then
surp-
because that was
because
by
I
the new
finished
year, and then we
before-
wanted to.
before everybody, and the
Julian
full
was
cast
waiting
edition,
for a while.
The full cast
Yeah.
edition Harry Potter came out. That kept me busy, so I was like, okay.
Yeah.
I mean,
Which I'm glad because you got that break. And that was the thing. I didn't want it to become. I was also tempted to just go through, but I didn't want it to become like a Mistborn book club because I also wanted to slip in a few short ones in between because I wanted a variety. Because I don't want you to be like banger, 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 and then immediately hate whatever the next book was and be like, I don't like reading. I like
I
Mistborn.
guess we saw that. I guess we saw that though, right?
We did. We
Yeah.
did see
Yeah.
that.
One of us did at least. But yeah, I mean, I guess, have all of them been fiction?
Yeah, I think we've read all fiction.
Yeah.
You
As
guys
of
are reading
now,
some
yes.
nonfiction right
Yeah,
now.
me and Dan, and we're definitely putting that in rotation
Oh,
for
yeah.
anyone. If you don't listen
I'm
to,
gonna read.
yeah, if you don't listen to any future episodes, okay, because we're definitely gonna put that at some point, and we will do an episode on it. But the Anxious Generation, I suggest that to anyone. I mean, I'd say, listen, I'm a millennial, right? Millennials, Gen Zers. If you're raising kids, if you know kids, if you are a kid, any of those people. Like, I highly recommend this book. I'm just going to drop The Anxious Generation right now. It should be on your must-read, even if you don't read.
You learn a
Yeah.
lot of mind-blowing stuff. It's been a little bit of a eye-opening experience with that book, especially with what we're doing now, trying to... It's funny how we kind of started reading that while we were also already trying to free ourselves from short-form content and being
burnout.
online. Yes, exactly. Burnout, being online all the time. So it just kind of fed into it. I was like, yes, we need to dive right into this because if we don't do it, we're gonna end up stupid. We're gonna end up being a product of our current. I don't want to say society, but the way we're being treated and dumbed down. So it really fed into it. Highly recommended.
And I think, I mean, I haven't even read it, but I mean, the things that, because we'll share, like when we're reading, we usually we'll post in the chat like different pieces of text. That we really
Very
enjoy.
meaningful pieces of text, like 6-7
Yeah.
every single time. George encounters 6-7.
We haven't done that for months. Okay?
The amount of times that it comes up that was astonishing, and I think it deserves to be mentioned.
Yeah,
It is
I just want to
astonishing.
point out,
It is.
as a side note, I was watching The Pit, and it happened twice
It
in
did.
one episode.
I noticed it as
And-
well.
You noticed it, and I
Yes,
withheld. I was
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
yeah. But anyways,
No, but I think I haven't read The Anxious Generation, but you guys, you'll post different
quote selections,
yeah.
ideas.
And so I don't even think everything that we mentioned about, wanting to take a break or we had this fatigue and things. I think we were feeling these things, but I don't know if they were at the forefront of the mind for why we started reading. I know that we had, because I didn't think about it until later. I was like, why did we get into this until we started talking about this? And I'm like, how was I feeling at that moment? What caused me to go into that? And, we all have our different reasons. Like at the time, it was still pretty recent with my girlfriend, and she's a big reader. And I was like, yeah, this would be a great, if this is something that, I hope to carry on to the future, then it's something that's like, I would want to share that with her. It's something that she enjoys. I want to do something that would like that with her. And so like, we all have our different reasons. And I think when you guys started talking about the Anxious Generation and the way, technology and society has shaped each other, I think that we're more keen to those things that are happening around us. We're more keen to the way that we are changing as a society, as a people. And I think that for me, at least, I had to go back and really, reflect, okay, why did I feel the need to like want to read these books? What is it? Because movies and TV and just things on the screen are such a big part of my life. I devote a lot of time to it. I devote too much time to it. And it's something that I've recognized as, too much of something is a bad thing. And I've wanted to cut back on some of those things, especially the screen time. And that's why, I continue with this journey. And I think we all get into lows and we all like give encouragement to each other.
Yeah.
Because there's a time we finished one of the Mistborn books and I'm like, all I want to read is Mistborn. That's all I want to do.
But if you do that in a vacuum, you'll get sucked up
Exactly.
into it, right?
Exactly.
But a support group, really.
Exactly. And then because it's like you guys were, pushing these other books that you had already started reading. And I'm like, but I was like, you know what? Let's do it. And then we read into some other ones that we'll get into, especially over the new year, which I think was, if Mistborn was a moment, was a highlight and a moment of like that changed in our, kind of changed us in our book club. I also think coming into that new year and reading The Alchemist was another one.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
That definitely had an impact, profound impact on myself, because I mean, we'll talk about this eventually, but like I read it when I was, a kid, younger, but the perspective and the experience that I've gained since then and reading it then hit me completely different.
Right.
And it's, to now it's like one of my favorite, it's a simple story, but it's one of my favorite things that I've read.
Yeah.
And it was a game changer. And it was something that it's like, books are more than just a pastime.
Mm-hmm.
Books are a way to reflect and to grow and to become a better person in the society. When a lot of times the things and that's when it clicked for me. It's like a lot of times when we're watching something, we're being fed projections of other people. We might relate to some people on a certain level, but books, I feel like you really learn about yourself.
Absolutely.
Because it's how you interpret text. It's how you interpret, because with the movie, it's kind of like, for the most part, they are you're getting fed someone's idea.
Yeah.
Their interpretation.
Right.
And
Yeah.
exactly.
Well, and also to add on that, I don't know if you're doing that.
No, go ahead.
but to add on that, lately it's felt like that interpretation has a very corporate mindset. I think that was part of
Very
it.
true.
Of basically like every major studio being owned by a giant conglomeration
with
and
agendas.
also
There's always agendas now, and
yeah,
these
one
books
way
are-
or the
yeah,
other.
Exactly.
Yeah, and also franchises. The problem of adaptation we were talking about, getting exhausted about nothing being original, and if it is original, it will get 3 sequels. So now it's no longer even an original idea becomes unoriginal, and that's part of the fatigue too. And I think books, in a sense, they're pure, especially because you can kind of look back. We're looking back at some of the things that we were raised on, like Roger Rabbit, right? A movie you grew up with. Well, where did it come from, right? So you're kind of revisiting your history, right? Something like The Alchemist is still pure. It hasn't been adapted. It's also a couple of decades old at this point, right? But and you're getting in on the ground floor. Like, it will be adapted, but now you've experienced it like in its pure form. And you can go back and look at classics and kind of they're less agenda like, and they're more open to interpretation for you to like leave behind the ideas that you might not gravitate to or agree with, and intake the ones that you do and that you relate to, and kind of open up your mind. And I think it may seem like you're exaggerating, but it does change you, and it changes your life. And then it changes your world. It changes your relationships. I think it's been amazing to connect with you two over there, with the 3 of us here in this room, and be able to kind of, as an extension of this show, like if that show did that for us early on, like now we're meaningful. We have a routine. We have to get together. We have to record. We have to talk. We have to release. This book is that now, giving us a platform for the sharing of ideas. And I think that's what kind of shaped the new direction we would like to take the show, is when we started having those meetings and having those conversations, and just like how profound and meaningful they were for us, like in isolation over those calls.
Right. The
Yeah, the way
Alchemist
that
was
this-
like
yeah, go
the second catalyst, because Mistborn was like, oh, books can be really cool. These stories can
Yeah,
be
they're
really
cool and they're fun,
awesome,
right?
Yeah.
Like cool fantasy, they're fun. The Alchemist was like, whoa, books can reshape my worldview.
They can blow your mind.
Exactly. In a way
No, it's
that
yeah.
it connected with me in a way that a movie hasn't in a long time.
And it's simple too, because I think he used the word simple. It's not the most complex book in the world, right? It's not even the greatest book in the world, but man, it really hits. And it's kind of like what we needed in this moment. And like you mentioned, I've read it. This is the 3rd time I read it. And every time in the stage that I am in my life, in my 20s, 30s, and now me in my 40s, it's meant something completely different. Because I think books, you read the book and then the book reads you. And that doesn't happen as much through other mediums. And I'm just going to go out of my way to say, Nick, actually, The Alchemist, I know you're in the room, you should go out of your way to read this one. It's short, it's easy, and I think you're going to love it.
Who's Nick?
Yeah. the maintenance guy. No, I mean, that was just one of those moments where it's just like, wow, this, because I've had those experiences with film, you you watch a movie. I've watched them, like, plenty of movies. Well, maybe not plenty. Like, there's select amount of movies that I've watched in my life that I'm like, it has changed me. It's made me go back and reflect and think, about my own experience.
I think it is plenty, because I could say it's probably like 20, 25,
Yeah.
right? And that's more than most people, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And this is a medium, this is a form, this is a movie that, in a sense, like, it is, kind of extra, but it does change the way that you think. It changes the way that you go about life sometimes. And the challenge, I think, in life is just whether those changes stick or not. But either way, you are a new person from that, for better or for worse. And so, because it's influence. And when I had that with this book, and that was really for the first time, I'm like, man, this is it's very impactful. And I think the other thing that I guess we don't mention is when, for some reason, books have a way of finding you at a certain time.
Right.
And it's the strangest thing, because it's happened before, maybe not into that level, but I think in this present time, it's a very weird transitional period that it's like I'm trying to achieve something, and there's a lot of, like, big life decisions that are coming up that for all of us, that we are at different stages of life. But when I read that book, and you read through, you read the subtext, and you're just like, oh, this makes so much sense. And it falls in line with so many things that have been building up in my life to that point. And when you connect like that with something, it's special. It's something that it's like maybe can be reserved for some like my favorite movies, you know, and it's just different. It's different, and I think that's why we've decided, because exactly we had a book club meeting to recap some of the books that we've been reading, and then we're just like, man, we can. There's gonna be a podcast,
Guys,
episode.
we should start a podcast.
And then we're like, oh wait,
we have
one.
That's right.
It's like, oh yeah,
Oh yeah. When's that last episode releasing?
yeah. And so, and I mean that's really a catalyst of why Julian's on the show.
Yeah.
You know, and we're happy to have him, and we're excited for this season, for what's to come.
Yeah, because I think we talked about the fatigue on the show last season as well, too. That it was kind of setting in, and that we had done this for how many years now, producer
Oh,
Dan?
man, like 4 or
We're
5.
We're going on
Six now.
5. Yeah, this is like the 6th, beginning of our 6th.
Oh yeah,
season.
20,
Yeah. So, and it's like, wow, we've been doing this for a while. Like, are we gonna keep doing it? How are we gonna keep doing it? And then it was just that meeting that was like, this is the show. Like, it's like he was joking, but yeah, like, oh, this should be a show, and this should be the show. And I think that's kind of where we were. We talked a bit about some of those titles. We're not going to talk about Roger Rabbit. It was kind of like the catalyst for the whole thing. But we will be talking about in greater detail the Mistborn series throughout this season. You mentioned The Alchemist, which it's going to be quite a conversation, right? Let's give the audience a preview of what some of the other stuff that we've read thus far, and then maybe something that the things that we've been thinking about discussing over the course of this season.
Yeah, it's a quick favorite of the F Boys, World War Z. Well, that'll be a fun episode to talk about.
Oh yeah,
That's gonna be a great
divisive,
episode.
divisive.
I'm excited for that episode.
Stories of your life,
Oh, I forgot about that one. Yeah, I didn't write
and
that one.
so
We have to
Another F. Well,
Oh, that is an F
That
boy.
was- I think the F-boys
a
are torn on
singular
that.
That's a
F-boy.
singular F boy.
the F Boys are torn on that one.
yeah. That was a controversial.
okay.
And I
A
think
house divided.
when we get into that point, I think we'll also talk about how not necessarily the text, but the way that the text is presented, especially like an audiobook form, can
Yes.
shape the way that your opinion on a specific project. And I think most famously, I think it's the biggest thing right now is Project Hail Mary.
Project Hail
Yeah.
Mary,
Very true.
baby.
Not to be confused with
The Phantom Menace.
THM.
Yeah. So, although we should read the novelization for
I'm
the
down.
Phantom
It'll probably
Menace,
make
I
it
think.
better.
Yeah. Well, it can't be worse, right?
That's true.
The pod race will be in deep detail. Yeah. So some of the things we're gonna talk about. Project Hail Mary. Full disclosure, I think universally loved as a book. We'll talk about what our reaction to the film is.
And granted, like we're saying this as like this is gonna be something that's gonna be important this season. That's not to say like we won't talk about like movies or
Right.
certain TV shows, but I do think that right now this is what's gonna be at the forefront.
Yeah, it's
Um,
definitely
for
at
a
the
bit.
center. And I think we're still going to tie in our experience with media and everything, but kind of these narratives being the driving force. And because the thing is that these stories, we talk about like World War Z, for example, which is a very interesting literary experience. And it's funny what that story, what it spins off to, what kind of movie is made from it, what kind of video game is made from it. And how disparate the visions for that world is. We're gonna talk about the Mistborn books that are now gonna be adapted for the first time, kind of what the vision for that is, and what the Project Hail Mary adaptation was like. I remember Julian was excited about being able to finally experience like a book and then its movie adaptation and be that guy in the chair. I don't know if you want to kind of describe what that role that you were like looking forward to being in.
Yeah, I was finally that guy, the one that sits in the chair and the entire time goes, "Yeah, the book was better."
This sucks. That's different.
This sucks. No, but
They didn't do that thing.
Yeah, what? How do you leave that one little tiny detail out?
Because to you that tiny detail might be huge, but to someone else is like it's
Yeah.
minuscule. I don't care.
Yeah,
and it helps. Yeah, go ahead.
And I realized that, especially after watching this the movie, connecting with the book so much, I realized how much I love the extra details, and that's one of the things again that goes back to like us reading the books, the original format, the original media of these stories, is that like I get to hear the full detail behind it before somebody else took it and had to chop it up to try to fit it under 2 hours.
That's
Right.
right.
So that was I definitely finally experienced that, and I sat there was like, wow, I am
And
that guy. I'm that person.
I can't
Finally,
even
we
at
got
this
you.
point. I can't even imagine going into that movie without reading the book. Like it was such an enhancing experience. I almost feel like I enjoyed the movie more because I visited the source material first.
I think it'd be interesting. Because I think that movie is great. I think that film is
Yeah, the movie is great.
fantastic, and I think because I'm gonna go from the flip side. I think it does make it better, and I think like I said to you guys, it makes me appreciate the filmmakers and just the author itself, Andy Weir, even more for his original story and then how they adapted that. But a part of me is also like, man, not knowing necessarily what happens towards the end and that risk and that like. You know what good movies make you feel like,
That's true.
because
too.
there's
That's true.
times like where it happens in the book and I'm like texting him like, what, this happened, and then he just ignores me or like talks about something else because he knows what's gonna happen later. I think it would be special to watch that movie, not necessarily have any prior knowledge of what's
Yeah.
to come or what happens through that movie, to see it kind of like with virgin eyes and then just go through that and then go back and read the book and enjoy it. I think either or, I think the experiences would be great.
Yeah, I think it definitely depends on. Welcome to my life, by the way, because this is literally my life. I think sometimes you'll benefit from watching the movie. 'Cause, for example, this is what happened with The Martian and Andy Weir, and I'm sure we'll talk about this in detail when we go over Project Hail Mary in its own episodes. But I watched The Martian first. I had never heard of Andy Weir. I don't really read a lot of new books. Because there's like thousands of years of amazing literature that like I'm still catching up on. So I watched The Martian, love the movie because that's a Ridley Scott movie, right?
History of the
If
Ancient
I'm not
World.
mistaken. Yeah, it's a great book. Shout
That's
out.
what I
History.
thought. The Martian.
The Martian, yes, is a Ridley Scott movie.
I don't
believe.
know.
Okay, you can double fact check that. But anyways, I went into that movie, loved it, then went back and read the book because with modern
Correct.
books, sometimes I have to be like, a movie has to validate it because it's like, here's a 2-hour experience. I can decide whether I like it or not. I don't know how I'm going to sink in because my proclivities for reading sometimes don't match up with modern audiences. But then I read the book and I was like, oh, wow, this is even better. But I had that core idea. With the other way, like we did it, where you read
Reverse
the book,
way
first of
around,
all, the
yeah.
book's. Yeah, and you're like, so you have to like trust the filmmaker and be like, okay, I understand that you can't put everything
Yeah.
in it. And when I said Welcome to My Life, it's like when I read Catching Fire, some of my favorite parts aren't in the movie, and you kind of have to turn that part of your brain off, enjoy it.
Yeah.
It was difficult.
And then kind of yeah, it is difficult, which is like we talk about. I'm really into superheroes. I've read a lot of graphic novels. I go to the movie. I almost never enjoy it the first time because I'm like, oh, that's not like in the books. Oh, that's
You see it with a more critical eye.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah.
natural. When I first saw it the first time, I'm like, oh, they went through like the first chapter and a half in like 3 seconds.
literally.
And then you're just rolling.
Literally.
And then you notice at the pace, but it's like, it's true. You have to get through because you have a limited time.
Yeah.
And
some of your favorite parts end up on the cutting room floor.
Yeah.
But then you sympathize because you know that the author, the director, and the screenwriter all have to make those decisions too. Some of their favorite parts end up on the cutting room
and a lot of projects don't necessarily have an author and a director working together like that. So like, count your blessings, I guess, in those aspects where it's like the author's like, this is what I want. This is what I envision it from a film. And so I don't know, man. And I think we're definitely seeing a rise in adaptations from books because, like book talk is a thing and like
Yeah.
books are like reading is becoming more popular in a sense. And we'll talk about that, but I think
we'll
it's-
definitely talk about
I think
that.
it's just like it's good that people are reading.
Yeah.
It may not necessarily be the
What are
greatest
they
things,
reading? How are they reading? Why? Because it was like, we talked about that app where me and Gabriel are like tracking, and it's easy to get in the circle chase of where like I'm trying to check things off, right? But for me, it's about pacing myself where I'm like, okay, I can get back to this or I can do this later. For me, it's trying to create a healthy routine and habit rather than trying to like compete with everyone else and what they're doing.
Yeah, it's not even for me. Like the same thing. It hasn't even been a competition. It's literally been I put that I'm reading or watching this, and now it's kind of like, okay, you started it, finish it.
Correct. Right. Because it's helped me because I started tracking all the books I hadn't finished. And I'm like, no more. I'm not adding any more. Like, I'm going to finish these in order before I start the next one. So it's interesting the world that we live in. Like we said, these books that we've been reading, that we will be reading, right? They're becoming adapted. It's becoming part of the culture. More people are being exposed to them. But we're kind of in the same place that we were the last couple of years when we started this podcast 5 years ago. No, but well, I mean, obviously people were talking about it, but it felt like we were the only ones talking about certain things, and this was a platform to talk about it. Now podcasts have blown up. Now media is everywhere. Everything is mainstream, right? Which is good, but it also comes with its bad. And we're kind of on the precipice where like the novels and these books, they're getting in that area. It's a good time to start reading now so that you're familiar with the source material. But in summation, these books that we read, they change who we are. They change the decisions that we make in our life. They shape the media that gets produced, that shapes the perceptions that society has, and they shape the world around us. So I think we're right back to square one when we're searching for that MacGuffin, right? What is that thing that drives us? And I think around towards the end of season 1 of this show, we came to hope, right? Being that central idea, we kept coming back to it, right? Whether it was Star Wars or Harry Potter or whatever it is that we were watching, right?
Roger Rabbit.
Roger Rabbit. It came back to that idea. And I think it's so funny because a lot of that is kind of what we've been experiencing through this journey through the books, right?
Yeah. And we're kind of just going back to basics in a sense, you know, with the books, where an adaptation comes from, the origins of these things, the original way of storytelling. And it's obviously fun and enlightening to learn. It's kind of like learning a new skill, really.
Yeah.
To be able to take in all this information and decide what you want to do with it, and just instead of just being, you know, force fed. To be free to think and make your own decisions of how to, you know, read a certain, you know, piece of the text, how to interpret that. I think it challenges us as people and makes us better for it. And I'm excited for the journey that we're about to embark on.
Yeah. Any final thoughts from the F boys?
Well, no, it was well said.
Agreed.
Okay, yeah. So I look forward to exploring these classic forms of storytelling, whether it be listening to oral stories, whether it be reading them through text, whether it be opera or ballet or any other
Oh, we got some stuff to talk about there.
medium. I'm glad to be on this journey for this new season with you guys over there, with our invisible producer in the chair, and with my brother in Christ right here. So from Gabe and myself and you all at home. Oh, do we still do the tagline at the end? I don't.
Farewell from China.
Keep on searching. That's how I'm going to end that one.